This is lesson 1.1, positive and negative numbers in pre-algebra. And what we're going to be doing during this lesson is talk about, in a little bit more detail than maybe what you're used to, negative and positive numbers. Negative numbers, as you recall from years ago, probably in high school, in junior high, negative numbers are numbers that are less than 0, and positive numbers are numbers that are greater than 0. And when you look on the number line, you'll see that to the right are positive numbers, to the left are your negative numbers from your 0, and any number to the left of another number is considered to be smaller than the number to its right. Now, that's a big long phrase. It could be complicated, but if you look at a number line, you'll see that every number to the left of another number will always be smaller. When we get over here into our negative direction, notice what happens. Even though the numbers go 1, 2, 3, because of the negative, that means they get smaller. So the number to the left of negative 1 is negative 2, and that number is going to be smaller than the negative 1. So as you go to the left, your numbers get smaller and smaller, and as you go to the right, your numbers get larger and larger. And all of the negative and positive really mean is the direction that you're going on the number line. If you're going in a negative direction, that means you're going left. If you're going in a positive direction, that means you're going right. Now, when we're comparing two numbers, like 3 and 4, and we're comparing the two, what we're going to do is we're going to say that 3 is less than 4. Or if we have a 6 and a 3, we're going to say that 6 is greater than 3. Now, a lot of you may remember when you were a little kid, they went and talked about how this, being the alligator's mouth, being wider here, always eats the bigger number. You know, that works if that's how you remember it. I just remember it by knowing that the biggest opening always is toward the biggest number, and it always points to the smallest number. So if I have negative 6 and 3, even though the 6 is larger than 3, that negative right there makes it smaller. So this would be negative 6 is less than 3. So that's the notation that we're going to use, greater than and less than. So when you look at it like example 1, it asks you to explain the meaning of each expression. Now you can watch some video examples by clicking on the little symbol there on the left in your book, and you can watch somebody do some examples of those. So I'll leave that to the videos there. Bottom of the page, and we're talking about absolute values now. Absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on a number line. Okay. Very important to remember and to realize what we're talking about when we're talking about absolute value. We're not talking about anything except how far a number is from 0 on the number line. So, the absolute value has a symbol that looks like this. So the absolute value of 3 means how far is 3 from 0 on the number line? Well, it's 1, 2, 3. The absolute value of negative 3 means how far is negative 3 from 0 on the number line? 1, 2, 3. It's also 3 units away. Okay? So, absolute value is simply how far a number is from 0 on the number line, and it will always be positive. When I ask you how far it is from your house to McDonald's, it is a certain distance there. Let's say it's 6 miles. Now, when you come back, how far is it from McDonald's to your house? It's still going to be 6 miles. You're just going to be going in a different direction. You're never a negative distance away from anything. So when we're talking absolute value, we're talking distance away from 0, and a distance is always going to be a positive number. So therefore, absolute value of any number, whether it's a positive number or a negative number, the absolute value is going to be a positive number. Now let's say we're interested in opposite numbers. Opposites are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. So if we've got a number line again, and we've got a number 0, and we have a 5 here, its opposite is going to be negative 5. They're both the same distance from 0. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So when you take the absolute value of opposites, you're going to get the same positive number as well. So the notation for the opposite of 5 is, I guess I shouldn't put an equal, they're not equal. The opposite of 5 is going to be negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is going to be 5. Okay? What I'd like you to notice here is two different graphs. One is called a scatter diagram, which is this one over here, and one is called a line graph. Okay, they both have their own uses. This one here is going through your months along the bottom and your temperatures along the left-hand side. So in January it was 50 below. In February the average temperature was, it looks like around 43 below. When you get all the way up to June, the average temperature was about 20 degrees. And so this is someplace very cold if it's going to be 20 degrees in June and only 25 degrees in July. But that's a scatter diagram, and sometimes the dots, when you put them in here, are just kind of all over the place. I mean, it could be that the average temperature in April was really down here, and you could have dots kind of spread around. That's why it's called a scatter diagram, is because they're scattered around. And then when we connect the dots, like we have in this figure over here, it then turns into a line graph. Because we can say, okay, so the average temperature in February is negative 45. In March, it's negative 30. So somewhere probably end of February, early March, the temperature is going to be somewhere along this line here. So as the days of February go on, it's going to get warmer and warmer, and from March it's going to get warmer and warmer and warmer. So by connecting these dots with a line, you can kind of follow this line here and see what's happening to the temperature as the days of the month go by. Okay, so that is lesson 1.1, and we'll try doing a couple of problems in the next lecture.